Talofa. My name is Michael McDonald. I'm with the American Samoa government, and today I'll be sharing an updated presentation on deep sea minerals in American Samoa, what they are and what they could mean for American Samoa. Today is Wednesday, July 29th. So why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about deep sea minerals? Well, there are a number of different reasons. These minerals are critical to life as it is today in 2026. They're resources that are used to create and develop many, many things. For example, going down this list, critical minerals are used in smartphones and electronics. They enable compact, high-performance devices we rely on daily, like our cell phones and our laptops and our computers. Critical minerals are important for defense systems. They're critical for advanced weaponry, communication, and national security. They're also very important in developing and creating medical equipment, including power, life-saving technologies like MRI machines, pacemakers, and surgical tools. They're also important for renewable energy. They're essential for wind turbines, solar panels, and battery storage. And they're, again, critical for modern infrastructure. They support transportation, power grids, and digital connectivity. Now, there are 5 things to know about deep sea minerals in American Samoa today. 1, there is no mining occurring today. There's currently no commercial deep sea mining in American Samoan waters, or anywhere in the world for that matter. Number 2, a lease does not mean mining. A BOEM lease only allows scientific research and data collection, not mining or extraction. Number 3, any future mining would face years of rigorous review. Multiple environmental, scientific, and technical assessments would be required before any mining activity could begin. Number 4, benefits and risks are still being thoroughly evaluated. Ongoing studies are assessing potential economic opportunities alongside environmental and cultural impacts. And number 5, public input is a vital part of the process. Community voices, stakeholders, and local leaders will help shape decisions every step of the way. So these are 5 things that are important for us to know here in American Samoa. Now, what is deep sea mining? If you're new to the topic, I will touch on this briefly, but the definition of deep sea mining is the responsible collection of mineral resources from the deep ocean floor, typically between 4,000 and 6,000 meters deep. The primary target in our specific case here in American Samoa are polymetallic nodules. These are potato-sized formations that are rich in high-value critical minerals. The key minerals included in these nodules are manganese, nickel, copper, cobalt, and rare earth elements. These minerals are vital for clean energy technologies, electronics, medical devices, and national defense, as we've just recently discussed. Now, there are new technologies being developed as we speak that are aimed at reducing environmental impacts of any potential mineral extraction activity. And the goal of these developments are to collect nodules while disturbing as little of the seafloor as possible. As an example, there are developments around artificial intelligence or AI-assisted autonomous vehicles. They're called AUVs. These map nodule fields and they avoid sensitive habitats, and they also optimize collection routes. There's also development around the Coanda effect collector heads. These are more gentle collector heads that reduce sediment disturbance on the deep sea floor. There are developments around closed skip lift systems. These systems enclose the nodules after they're collected on the seabed and transports them to the collector ship, minimizing or eliminating any mid-water plume generation. There's also developments around real-time environmental monitoring. These are systems and sensors that track turbidity, noise, and water quality real-time, so that should something happen, the people involved could adapt and react quickly to minimize and eliminate any impacts to the environment, as an example. And then there are also developments around precision mining approaches. These focus on high density areas to reduce the overall footprint of any mineral extraction activity. It's important, these technologies are still being tested and evaluated, and should there be any attempt to move into mining phase in the future, the companies who develop these technologies must prove that they can be used in a safe and efficient manner. Now, new technologies being developed to reduce environmental impacts include, as an example, impossible metals AUVs. These are autonomous underwater vehicles that are operated remotely, and they're deployed from a collector ship, and they go down to the deep sea floor and they pick nodules up off the seabed. That technology, again, is in development. As mentioned earlier, there are also closed skip lift systems being developed that move nodules from the deep sea floor to a collector vessel via a lift system. And the nodules are typically enclosed in a container or a bin and transferred up to the collector ship, thereby reducing and or eliminating a midwater plume and a return water deposit into the ocean. Also in development are different technologies that are all focused on extracting these nodules and critical minerals in an environmentally friendly way. Moby Robotics, as an example, is developing new technology, as are the folks over at Mithro Minerals. Now, what is inside a polymetallic nodule? Now, these nodules are naturally formed on the deep sea floor, and they are similar to the size of a potato, and they're rich in critical minerals. These minerals include manganese, which is used for batteries and steel production, nickel, which is used in electric vehicle batteries and stainless steel, copper, which is used in electronics, wiring, and renewable energy, cobalt, which is used in high-performance batteries and defense systems, and then you also have rare earth elements. These are used in advanced electronics, like magnets, medical devices, and clean energy technology. So one small nodule contains the key ingredients for the technologies that power our modern world. So where is deep sea mining happening today? In 2026, July 2026, at present there is no commercial mining happening anywhere in the world. However, there are a lot of efforts underway right now around deep sea mining exploration. Now, the primary area or zone where exploration activities are taking place is called the Clarion-Clipperton Zone. This zone is shown in the image above, and if you look at the map, you will see Hawaii in the top left area, and then you will see Mexico in the top right area. The Clarion-Clipperton Zone, or the CCZ, spans this entire area. And this area sits in international waters and currently has been identified as having the largest polymetallic nodule deposits in the world. This image below that, the second image here, depicts the several leases that have been issued by the International Seabed Authority in the CCZ. This image gives us a closer look as to how the CCZ is partitioned and how the lease blocks have been identified and issued. And so there are approximately 30 leases currently issued in the CCZ. These leases are all exploration leases, and they are, again, issued by the International Seabed Authority. You can see the name of organizations who have engaged in exploration leases in the CCZ here below. You have companies from Singapore, Cook Islands, Kiribati, Germany, China, Japan, Belgium, Korea, France, Slovakia, Nauru, Tonga, the UK, Russia, and the UK. And so there are countries from all over the world who are interested in exploring deep sea mineral extraction. Also, it's important to note that there are a few of our Pacific Island neighbors who are also already carrying out exploration activities in the CCZ, or this area, including Kiribati, Tonga, and Nauru. Now, the ISA, or the International Seabed Authority, is the entity that manages the deep sea mining process for international waters. So the mandate under the UNCLOS, or the United Nations Convention Law of the Sea, is that the ISA, or the International Seabed Authority, organizes and controls mineral-related activities in the area, and that is seabeds beyond national jurisdictions. Its core mission, the core mission of the ISA, is to manage the process that leads to commercial exploitation while ensuring effective protection of the marine environment. The current status of the ISA, it has issued approximately 30 to 32 exploration contracts, in the majority of it in the Clarion-Clipperton Zone. As far as commercial exploitation contracts are concerned, none have been issued to date, so there is no commercial deep sea mining in the international waters. And the mining code exploitation regulations are still under negotiation inside or within the ISA. Now, the trajectory and implications of the work that's ongoing with the ISA. Progress is slow but directional. The 2026 council sessions continue advancing the draft exploitation regulations. No commercial mining has begun under ISA rules, yet the institutional purpose remains clear: enable regulated commercial activity in the area. So if commercial extraction proceeds in the CCZ or in the EEZs of Pacific neighbors that are already advancing exploration, early movers will capture the first wave of jobs, revenue, technology partnerships, strategic and economic consequences, all of which should be considered as we move forward and through this conversation. Now, taking a closer look as to where deep sea mineral exploration is taking place today. Pacific nations advancing exploration. First, you have Cook Islands. They have issued 3 5-year exploration licenses back in 2022 for polymetallic nodules in its own exclusive economic zone. Tonga, they sponsor TOML, which is a subsidiary of the Metals Company, under ISA contract in the CCZ. This contract expires in early 2027. So Tonga, as an independent nation, acts as a sponsor for a company to do exploration in the CCZ. The same goes for Kiribati. Kiribati previously sponsored Marawa with TMC for an ISA contract in the CCZ. It's now exploring new partners, including reported interest from China. Nauru sponsors NORI, or NORI, which is another subsidiary of the Metals Company, under an ISA contract in the CCZ. And then also finally, Nauru has been exploring ocean resources, nodule and crust potential identified. They are not yet at the same stage of active licensing or commercial partnerships as these other nations, but have engaged in a broader attempt to explore its mineral resources. So here is an image of the Cook Islands EEZ. As you can see, to the immediate left of the Cook Islands EEZ, you can see American Samoa's EEZ. Below American Samoa's EEZ, you see Niue. And to the right of the image, you can see how the Cook Islands has partitioned its EEZ around DSM and the availability or presence of these nodules. Now, where has it happened so far, or sorry, what has happened so far? Here in American Samoa, initial mapping has been completed by NOAA, and box cores, 38 to be exact, or 36, sorry, to be exact. Box core samples have been collected and are being studied by the U.S. Geological Survey and its other federal partners. Those survey and exploration activities happened earlier this year, 2026. Now, more recently, BOEM, or the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, which is the federal agency that oversees this process, has recently released a proposed lease notice, or PLN. The PLN outlines the terms and conditions for the potential sale, including blocks under consideration, information to lessees, and proposed lease stipulations. The PLN advances the leasing process to support responsible access to the critical minerals needed to strengthen the U.S. supply chains, enhance energy readiness, and sustain the technologies that power the nation's modern economy. Deep sea mining again today, exploration and research are occurring globally, and there is no commercial polymetallic nodule mining anywhere today. Now, the American Samoa process and timeline is shown here in this graphic. We are currently in step 4 of 8. BOAM issues a proposed lease notice, so that is right here where the arrow is at. And that triggers a 60-day window for Governor Pula to review the proposed lease notice and submit comments to BOAM. Once the 60-day period closes, BOAM will review the comments, and if they decide to proceed forward, they will issue a lease notice, a leasing notice, and then qualified companies would place bids for a mineral lease. After the conclusion of that process, BOAM would issue a lease and would post the lease details to their website. Now, a lease allows surveys, mapping, and studies. It does not authorize mining. This is an important point to reiterate. Again, should we proceed to a lease only allows surveys, mapping, and studies. It does not authorize mining. This image, which is also posted on our Facebook page, you can find the Facebook page at AMSAM, DOSI, for Deep Ocean Sustainability Initiative. This infographic shares the process from lease issuance to any possible mining, beginning with a lease that would be issued. As we previously discussed, the lease is issued to a company that would allow only surveys, mapping, and scientific studies. It does not allow mining or commercial extraction. A very, very important point to reiterate. A lease issued only allows scientific studies. It does not allow mining or commercial extraction. The next step, after the lease is issued, the company or companies begin surveys and research. After that, they will begin to work internally to develop plans, and should they decide to proceed forward with a request to move to commercial mineral extraction, they will be required to submit detailed mining, environmental, and operational plans to BOAM. The BOAM and other relevant federal agencies will then conduct environmental assessments or environmental impact statements, technical reviews of mining and operational plans, and there's a public comment process involved here as well. Public input is collected and is made part of the process. The next step, federal review and decision. So the federal agencies involved will review the scientific data, the environmental studies, and the public comments, and then either approve, modify, or deny the request for commercial mining. Now, possible commercial activity will take place only if approved, and this happens only after years of review. Again, to reiterate, lease issuance does not guarantee mining. As it shares down below this infographic, which again you can find on our Facebook page, lease issuance equals gathering information. We learn before we decide. And over here to the right, mining equals a future decision, made only after science, environmental, and technical reviews and public input are complete. So we do not proceed forward to any mining until all of this has been done. And one final point to highlight on this infographic, here at the bottom, a lease enables data collection to determine whether there is enough information to make an informed decision in the future. And this is, again, a really important point to reiterate. A lease only enables data collection, and this data will help us at some point in the future arrive at a very important decision to approve, modify, or deny any request for commercial mining. This image is similar to the one we just looked at and is also available on our Facebook page. However, what this does do is add some additional detail to the process. I'd like to highlight down the right side here one of the additional details that has been included in this infographic, and that is the timetable. So starting up here again in step 1 of this process, if a lease is issued, then we proceed forward from a lease issuance into surveys and research. data analysis and technical studies, companies submitting plans to BOEM for development of minerals, federal agencies conducting environmental reviews and technical reviews, and then federal review and decisions will be made. Now the timeline, as summarized here on the right, shows that this process can last up to 10 years of exploration, analysis, and reviews before we reach a point where the federal agencies approve or modify or decline a request for commercial deep sea mining. Again, you can find this more detailed infographic at the Facebook page AmSamDOSI. Now, the potential benefits of deep sea mining include the following: improved national security. This would secure a domestic supply of critical minerals essential for the United States defense systems and advanced technologies, reducing foreign dependency. At present, as we've discussed in the past, the United States and most other nations who rely on these critical minerals import them from China. And so that presents a national security risk for the United States. Number two, energy transition. These critical minerals enable clean energy technologies, batteries, electric vehicles, and renewable energies with responsible source nickel, cobalt, manganese, and copper. Number three, economic opportunities. A deep sea mineral industry could generate local jobs and long-term revenue streams and business growth while ensuring benefits stay in American Samoan communities. Number four, scientific research, advanced ocean science, environmental monitoring, and university partnerships that build local capacity in marine geology and robotics all are potential benefits. And then finally, infrastructure investment. This industry would drive port modernization, multi-use facilities, and supporting infrastructure that strengthen both commercial and national security needs. Potential concerns include environmental impacts. For example, the potential disturbance to seafloor habitats, sediment plumes, and effects on deep sea biodiversity and ecosystem functions that require careful assessment and monitoring. Potential concerns also include concerns around our fisheries, possible interactions with commercial, recreational, and subsistence fisheries, including resources vital to local food security and livelihoods in American Samoa, unknown long-term effects, and then there are also cultural considerations. So there are many questions that get asked and continue to be asked as we work through this process. There are a few FAQs here that I'd like to review. Question number one, has mining been approved in American Samoa? The answer is no. There is currently no approved mining in American Samoa's waters. Question number two, does BOEM lease allow mining? Answer, no. A lease only permits scientific research and data collection, not commercial mining. Question number three, what happens next? Should a lease be issued? Rigorous studies, environmental reviews, and extensive public input happens next. Any future proposal would require years of scientific assessment, regulatory oversight, and community consultation before any decision is made. So key takeaways from today's presentation. Number one, no mining is happening today in American Samoa waters. Number two, leasing is not mining. Leasing means exploration only to support scientific research. Number three, science comes first. Years of studies and environmental review are required before we reach any decision to move forward with commercial mining. And number four, public participation matters. Community input will help guide future decisions. Now, as part of the American Samoa Deep Ocean Sustainability Initiative, we are committed to a transparent, a responsible, and a science-based approach that protects our ocean and builds opportunity for American Samoa. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below or message us directly through our Facebook page. Again, our Facebook page is AmSamDOSI, or you can reach us at email, or by email rather, at deepseainfo@go.as.gov. Vaftai Telelava.